A nation on the edge. From the smouldering hills of Sweida to the sniper-lined alleys of Deir el-Zor. And now, Israel striking deep inside Syrian soil. As Syria bleeds from within, outside forces close in. Is this the collapse, or just the beginning of a new war? Southern Syria is once again aflame with sectarian violence, as renewed clashes in the Druze-majority province of Sweida left 4 dead and fractured an already tenuous ceasefire. Fighting erupted on August 3rd between Druze armed groups and Syrian government forces near the strategic Tal Hadid area and the city of Thala. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported the deaths of 3 security personnel and 1 local fighter. Tal Hadid, perched on elevated ground, is a crucial military post, its control conferring tactical dominance over nearby regions. The recent battle marks another chapter in a simmering conflict that exploded in July when Druze militias clashed with government-backed Sunni Bedouins. That confrontation, which claimed an estimated 1,400 lives and displaced tens of thousands, shattered any illusion of stability. Although a ceasefire temporarily paused the bloodshed, friction remained. Syrian state media has blamed Druze fighters loyal to spiritual leader Hikmat al-Hijri for provoking the August 3rd violence, claiming they killed at least 1 officer and launched mortar fire on villages. The Interior Ministry further accused them of targeting internal security units and disrupting humanitarian efforts. Damascus now claims it has retaken contested positions in Sweida, but the observatory warns the regime may be laying siege to the province to force submission. Since July 20th, the main road connecting Sweida to Damascus has remained sealed off. While the regime blames local fighters for the closure, rights groups assert that pro-government militias are restricting movement in and out of the area. Public anger is rising. On August 1st, demonstrators demanded that Damascus withdraw its forces and open an aid corridor from neighbouring Jordan. The UN has sent in limited aid convoys, but these efforts remain hamstrung. Syria's Interior Ministry recently announced another closure of the humanitarian corridor, citing violations of the ceasefire. These escalations have cast fresh doubt over the authority of interim President Ahmad al-Sharaa, who assumed power after Bashar al-Assad's ousting in December. His Islamist-leaning administration pledged to protect Syria's minorities, yet widespread violence, most notably the killing of 1,700 Alawite civilians in March, has amplified fears of sectarian reprisals. Sweida remains a symbol of Syria's broader collapse into ethnic and sectarian fragmentation. Long dominated by the Druze minority, the region now stands at the heart of a civil conflict inflamed by local grievances and national political voids. Amid the spiralling conflict in the south, Syria's Kurdish-led forces are navigating a different kind of battlefield, one defined by shifting alliances and fragile promises. On August 3rd, the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, or the SDF, confirmed the deaths of 5 members following an Islamic State attack on a checkpoint in Deir el-Zor on July 31st. Once the main US-backed force in the war against IS, the SDF was instrumental in dismantling the group's caliphate in 2019. But as IS seeks to regroup, it is targeting regions like Deir el-Zor, seized by IS in 2014 and retaken by the Syrian army in 2017, with renewed ferocity. The loss of SDF personnel is more than a tactical setback. It's a reminder of the volatile terrain Syria still grapples with. It comes as the SDF's relationship with the Damascus interim government faces its own trial. On August 2nd, just days before announcing its losses in Deir el-Zor, the SDF traded accusations with Syria's defense ministry over a rocket strike near the city of Manbij. Damascus accused the SDF of targeting a military outpost, injuring 4 soldiers and 3 civilians. State media condemned the attack as reckless. The SDF denied initiating it and claimed it was responding to shelling from pro-government factions.
Our forces were responding to an unprovoked artillery assault targeting civilian populated areas with more than 10 shells by factions operating within Syrian government ranks.
The skirmish throws into question a landmark unity deal signed in March. Designed to reintegrate Syria's fragmented military forces and political institutions, the agreement aimed to bring Kurdish-led units under Damascus's command. But the fine print remains contested. The SDF wants its forces to be incorporated as a bloc, preserving its command structure. Damascus, in contrast, insists on individual enlistment, effectively dismantling SDF's autonomy. The ambiguity surrounding implementation is now fueling distrust. Incidents like the Manbij strike risk, unraveling the already tenuous pact. A Turkish Defense Ministry source said last month that the SDF must prove it is adhering to the agreement, reiterating Ankara's stance that the group remains an offshoot of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. The SDF, for its part, has issued a stark warning.
While we reaffirm our commitment to respecting the current de-escalation arrangements, we call on the relevant authorities in the Syrian government to take responsibility and bring the undisciplined factions under their control.
With Turkey looming, Islamic State regrouping, and domestic alliances crumbling, Syria's pathway to national reconciliation looks increasingly uncertain. As internal fault lines consume Syria, the country faces an external pressure point along its southern border. On August 3rd, the Israeli military announced it had conducted an overnight raid in the Druze town of Haida in southern Syria, targeting suspected arms dealers. Soldiers from the 226th Reserve Paratroopers Brigade, aided by Unit 504 of the Intelligence Directorate, conducted simultaneous raids on 4 arms caches. According to the Israel Defense Forces, or the IDF, the operation was informed by intelligence gathered during on-ground interrogations and prior surveillance. The IDF claims it seized numerous weapons intended for trafficking. The incursion underscores Israel's deepening military footprint in Syria following the collapse of the Assad regime in December 2024. Israel has maintained a long-standing policy of preventing arms transfers from Syria to Hezbollah in Lebanon. But its military posture has become increasingly assertive, especially in regions bordering the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. In the immediate aftermath of Assad's fall, Israel launched a wide-scale bombing campaign, targeting former regime military infrastructure and suspected Iranian-linked positions. With Syria's state apparatus weakened, various foreign actors are now recalibrating their strategies. Israel's recent actions indicate a sustained campaign to control what it views as security threats emerging from a lawless Syrian landscape. Whether confronting arms smugglers, Islamic militants, or rival factions, the challenges facing Syria's interim government are no longer confined within its borders. From Sweida's hills to Deir el-Zor's plains and Hadid's villages, a fractured nation struggles not just to heal, but to survive.